Hello students, welcome back to the session on data structures and the last topic, that is files, which is of course the last topic of the unit 5 under the Python. In the last session we understood the working of dictionaries with the help of different examples, and we also saw how a string can be processed by removing the punctuation marks and the words can be transferred to the dictionary. We also understood how the function make, trans and translate can be used to remove the characters, or that matter replace the unwanted characters. So let us get started with this concept of files again, because the files is again not new to you. Now in the last lectures, that is previous lectures, if you remember in the computer files, when we had discussed along with the C programming, that the file concept is known to you. So definition of a file, the working of the file, how a file is handled, all those concepts remain same, except the syntactical part and some differences here and there. So let us get started with this files. You know the definition of a file, and definition of course will not change. That is, a computer file is a entity which stores the digital information. The information could be image, it could be a text, it could be a picture, or it could be audio file, video file, etc. But a very important aspect with respect to these files we should not forget is its nature. That is, whenever you store a file on a device, then it is permanently stored and it is accessible as long as the power is there, and that storage we call it as a persistent storage. And that is what is explained on this slide. Stored on a persistent storage device, it could be a secondary memory, pen drive, hard drive, etc., and it is not erased when the power is turned off. So this is another important thing that you should remember, and it is never erased as long as power is there, it is available to you. The main focus will be on reading and writing text files such as those created in TextEdit. Of course we'll be focusing more on the text files because they make more sense to us than the other files. And let us try to understand now, when I say opening a file, what does it mean? You already know that a file needs to be opened first before performing any operation on the file, because opening the file communicates with the operating system that is running on the computer, so that it knows where the data for each file is being stored. So in other words, it means that the compiler or the interpreter, whatever you are using, is communicating with the operating system, and operating system in turn it is invoking its lower routines or the libraries to communicate with the corresponding entity. It could be a file, it could be device, or any other thing. And the concept is universal. It is not going to change anywhere. This is going to be same everywhere. And when a file is opened, the operating system finds the file by name and makes sure the file exists. So this is another thing that you know it. Whenever we open a file, it should be opened by a name. And once a file is opened, you know that you can make use of the file handle or a file pointer. In this case, Python will be using the terminology as the file handle. Now, what is the general syntax of the opening a file? Like in case of C, we had F open, we have similar kind of function, but here we call it as only open, with the first parameter as the file name and second parameter as the mode. File name is the name of the file that needs to be created or is already present, and mode is the mode in which you want to open the file. Of course, unlike C, here mode is not mandatory. You can even skip the mode part by giving closing the bracket and giving only one parameter, which means that the file will be opened in the default read mode only. So what are the modes here? The modes, for example, R is for reading, default mode, that is also called as the default mode. Reading a file, that is you're opening a file for reading. Writing the file, or for that matter any existing file with the same name will be erased. If you are using W, you got to be careful. And A is for the append mode, that is you want to add some text to the end of the file, you can make use of append mode. And there is one more mode X here, that it will create a file and returns an error if the file already exists. If the file is already existing, then it will return an error if you make use of X for doubly cross checking. Then there is a T there, which is actually a default mode. Any file that is opened is treated as a text file. That's why it is called as a default mode. That is, you want to open a text file, or you want to open a text file in the read mode. You can specifically even specify RT. It opens a text file in read mode. For that matter, it is a default mode, so even if you say R, it is the same thing. And you have a B for binary file, that you know that binary files generally are the video files, images, or etc. And if you use a plus along with these T, B, or R or W, it means that open a file for some more additional operations, such as it could be, if it is used with R, it could be read and write. If it is used with W, it could be W means writing and reading. So this plus plays a role there, additional role. So RB is opens the file as the read only in binary, and WB opens the file in the write only file in the binary mode. So these are the different modes which are available to the programmer. Now we'll try to work on an example, and we are going to use a file called as let us say file mbox.txt is open in read mode. Then by default it is stored in the same folder as that of where Python interpreter is started. Now if I say open mbox.txt, then by default it will open the file in the read mode, and it will create a handle called as fhand. And if the open call is successful, the operating system returns a file handle as usual. Like in case of C, we had fp file pointer which was pointing to null in case if the file was not open, but in this case it will return successfully a file handle. Otherwise it will return an error, that is if it is unable to open the file. But of course you should know that a file can be opened which has proper read or write permissions. So these permissions are also important, that if you are given the proper read and write permissions on the file, then only you are able to open that file. The file handle is not the actual data contained in the file, but instead it is a handle that can be used to read the data. So just focus on this sentence, because this is going to play a role here. You should not be confused that file handle itself will store the data, but it is not the data. It is only a handle that can be used to read the data. So it is going to point to the data. So using that you can read the data. And finally, you know that whenever you open a file, it is a good practice to close a file, that is file handle dot close. Now this is a diagram that gives you a better picture or understanding about inside of the file, or inside how file is opened and it gets stored. Now if you open a file is on the secondary storage device. This is your persistent storage, as we had discussed earlier. And whenever a file is opened successfully, it will create a handle, and this handle will enable you to, or enable the programmer to open, close, read and write. This is part of your program, and this picture gives you a better understanding about, or visualization about, how file would work. And as usual, if the file is not present, it will give an error saying that file not found error. For that matter, you can make use of try and except model, wherein we had used this model, if you remember, in one of the examples. So we will be trying to use that. So whenever there is an error, we can catch that error using this except model, so that we can say that this was the particular error and it will not stop the program. So you can make use of try and except model. See how we can read a file. Now you know that the file handle does not contain the data. However, it needs to, it can be used to read as a whole file into one string using a read method. Now before starting with the actual coding part or the program part, let me tell you that any resources that you need, for example, I will be using many examples in the during this particular sessions. For example, if I say m-box.txt, then don't worry about this file. This file, all these resources or these different files are available in this path. So you visit this path and download all the files required. For example, here the path is given for mbox.txt is py4e.com/code3. So there are different files available, you can download from them. So don't be surprised if I'm using some files here. So this is the link you can make use of. Now if I write fhandle open or fhand equal open mbox.txt, and if I say inp equal fhand.read method, then I can read the entire file. Please remember these words, entire file, into one variable called as inp, which is of the string type. So the entire variable will be of string type. So whenever I try to print this inp, I'll get the entire file itself. Or for that matter, if I say print length of inp, that is length of the inp which I have read, then it will tell me how many characters I have read. It will display the total number of characters. In this case it is 2582, which is mbox.txt. So we'll be working on this example and we'll be seeing how we can process this file in different ways. Further, I can make use of another function called as read lines. Sometimes it is required that I should have the entire content as in terms of lines. Now what happens with this? It will separate each line and present the file in a readable format. That is, it will be separate. It will read the entire content in the form of lines, by each line separated with a /n and separated by a comma. So I shall show you the demo. You can visualize this later. And similarly, if I say I open a file and then if I say read bracket 100, that means I am trying to read the first 100 characters from the beginning of the file. It will read the first 100 characters only from the beginning of the file into this inp, which is of the string type. So this way you can make use of read lines as the methods. So let us see the demo of this. Now let us declare a variable called as file handle here. Equals open bracket. Now which file we need to use? Let us call this file as mbox.txt and let us see whether it is present in the drive. So you can see here this file is present, mbox.txt, because I have downloaded from that link which I had given you earlier. Now this contains this data, which is actually I'll just show you the data here. It is the email addresses from whom the email was received, and the other aspects like received from and so on. This is the content of the file. Now let us try to read this file in the defaultly in the read mode. Of course you can specify comma read, but I am not interested. I will just say this. Now you know that if I try to use a variable, let us call this as inp input, and now if I say the file handle dot read, now you know that the entire file will be read into inp as a string, and if I say print of inp, I can print the entire file in using a single variable. Now if I run this, it is interesting to see that the entire content of the file is displayed here. So this is how you can in one go you can display the entire content of the file. And there is an advantage to this particular approach. Whenever you read a file and you want to process the content of the file, if you convert it to string, then it becomes easy, handy to work on it. Or for that matter, if I don't want to use this, even I can avoid this. I can directly take a for loop and browse through the file. That is, if I say file for line in file handle, then I can browse through the entire file by using this line by line. So if I say print line, then I can browse through the entire content in line by line, because the spaces, you can see it adds a space between each line because it's an empty blank line that it gets gets added here. Or for that matter, I can make use of the earlier concept, that is, along with the read, I can make use of read lines here. If I say read lines, just see what happens. Now if I execute this, I would get something like this. Just focus here, this particular part from stephenmarket.marquardt, and if I click on this, I get the entire content of the file in the form of line, where each line has been added with a /n and a comma. So I would get these lines, and then I can process these lines separately by using these different mechanisms to process the string. So this is how you can read the file and then do whatever processing you need to apply on as far as the content of the file is concerned. Further, since INP happens to be a string type, or the you want to make it as a string type, let us say read, and now when I am displaying this INP, let us say I am trying to slice it. I want to display only the first 50 characters. Then I can even slice this by using the concept of slicing, and I can display only the first 50 characters. This is how it will work as far as INP string slicing is concerned. And then, for example, let us try to work on an example, and we'll try to see how we can apply this concept of files. So let us go back to the slides and see what is that example we can work on. Now this problem says write a Python program to count the number of lines of the file mbox.txt. Now it is specifically given that the file name is mbox because it is a downloaded file. Not a problem. So you should know that whenever such a kind of a program is given to you, now how do you work on it? You know already that it does not contain data, so it is quite easy to construct a for loop to read through and count each of the lines. Just now we had seen how for loop can be used to browse through the lines, and in the process you can count it. So let us go back to the editor and do the same thing. Now we already know that if I use for line in file handle, it will display each line separately. So instead of displaying it, we are supposed to count it. So we'll try to take a variable here, initialize a variable outside the loop, and instead of counting it, we'll try to say that we are trying to increment the counter whenever a line is read. So we'll say just count is equal to count plus 1, and outside the loop we'll try to display the count of the lines. So it will give me how many lines have been displayed. So this is how you can make use of this concept of counting the lines. I have not done any rocket science there, just I have added one variable. So I am utilizing the the concept of browsing through the lines and just displaying the count. So what do I get here is the 51 lines. So it has 51 lines. Of course you can check it out by printing each of the lines separately also. So this is the solution to that program that we had seen just now. So this is the code. Of course it is given, whatever we discuss, the code is available on the presentations also. So with this note we'll end it, this session here, and in the next session we'll try to take up more examples on the file. And with this note I'll try to see that will meet with more examples, and we'll practice till then. So have a good day and a safe day. Thank you.